Hi everybody, 안녕하세요 여러분. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Neen. I'm a GKS scholar and I'm here to help with your application. So in the last video, I talked a bit about the program and the fact that I kind of started making some of these videos 6 months ago, but now continuing to do so. I previously introduced you a bit about the benefits and the eligibility criteria. Today we'll be diving into one of the more confusing parts for a lot of people of the application process, and that is what's the difference between the embassy track and the university track, and which one should you choose to do. This decision is pretty important, and it's also pretty important to know if you even have the choice. So let's break it down. So there are two ways to apply for GKS. You have the embassy track and then the university track. Embassy track, you submit your documents to the Embassy of Korea in your country, and university track is you apply directly to a university in Korea. One good thing to note is embassy track, you can use up to 3 different universities from both type A and B universities. The selection process is 3 rounds: embassy, NIED, and university. And it's more competitive, but usually has more positions as well. Plus the fact that you can spread your your choices over 3 universities once you get to the university application part of the process. Now, the university track is you apply to only one university directly to the school. Then the selection process has 2 rounds. You apply to the university, and then if they accept you, they like you, they forward you to NIED, which is the National Institute of International Education. Fewer slots available, but also less competitive per slot than the embassy. First off, let's start with the embassy track. I personally applied through the embassy track because that was the only option I had. So I'm a bit more confident in the information about this part. First off, you need to submit your application to the Korean embassy in your country. So for me, I had to go to the Korean embassy in the Netherlands to hand in my application there. So you need to check the website of your embassy for the deadlines and additional requirements. I know in the Netherlands the deadline is March 5th. And also good to note is every country has a different amount of slots. I cannot stress this enough. So the amount of competition will vary per country. And some countries have additional requirements and some countries don't. So even though the basic requirements are all the same, it can really depend on which country you're from. Then the next step is the embassy reviews all paper applications and selects nominees. Usually they review the papers, then they invite you for an interview at the embassy, and then they forward the people to the NIED. So if you pass both the paper inspection and then your interview at the embassy and you get forwarded your NIED, you are past round 1. Then in round 2, NIED reviews your application and selects candidates. It hardly ever happens, for as far as I know, that people do not pass this stage because it's purely paper-based. So unless some of your documents are not correct, most people pass the second round. And then if you pass the second round, you will be forwarded to the 3 universities you selected. The 3 universities will review and approve final applicants. So if one of the 3 universities accepts you, congratulations, you've made it. And then after a week or so from you hearing back from the universities, they will post their final announcement saying like, these people passed and they're going to this university. This track is great in my opinion because it gives you 3 chances to get into a university, but it's also highly competitive, especially in countries with a lot of applicants and in countries with very limited slots. Next up is the university track. Personally, I did not do this, so I don't know the ins and outs of the process, but some of my fellow GKS scholars did do this track. And of course, we talked a bit about the application when we were like first getting to know each other. But all in all, it's a bit simpler. So you submit your application directly to one university. You can only choose one. And you need to make sure it has GKS slots for your chosen major. Next is the university reviews the application and selects nominees. Some universities will have interviews, some universities won't. And then they forward it to NIIED, National Institute of International Education. It's a mouthful. And then they review and confirm the final scholarship recipients. So the university track is great if you already know exactly where you want to study, but you only have one shot. So if they reject you, then that's it. But also a good thing to mention is that for the embassy track, if you do not make it past the first round, and your country does have slots for university track as well, you can apply again for university track, which is what some students I know did. So keep that in mind when you're applying. So with all of that in mind, to make your decision a bit easier, I have a list of pros and cons for each track that I will put on the screen. Pro is for embassy track number 1, more slots available. Number 2, you get to choose 3 universities. Number 3, if you're from a country with fewer applicants, your chances may be higher. Then some cons is it's highly competitive, especially in some countries, and a more complicated process with multiple screenings. Then the pros of the university track. Number 1 is less competition per slot, faster process, fewer steps than the embassy track. And number 3 is like if you have a specific university in mind and if you really know that you will be able to get into the university, I would say it's a really good choice. Then cons is it's only one chance. If you're rejected, that's it. And some universities don't have many GKS slots in general, so please also do keep that in mind. Now, if you have the choice to choose between embassy track and university track, which track should you choose? Some factors to consider. Are you flexible with the universities you want to go to? If yes, embassy track might be better since it has 3 schools you can apply to. If no, then universities track is best if you have a school in mind. Second is your country's embassy track highly competitive? It's best to check on previous years' acceptance rates. If your country has very few slots, then university track might be a safer bet. Then, do you prefer a simple and faster process? University track has fewer steps, so you get faster results. All in all, no matter which track you choose, the key for any scholarship is preparation. And don't worry if you're confused about some parts. I will try my best to guide you through everything in the next few episodes. That's it for today's video. I hope this helped in understanding the MC track versus university track a bit better. Again, let's end with a question for you. Which track are you thinking of applying for? MC track or university track? Let me know in the comments below. And the next episode, I will break down all the required documents you need to submit and how to prepare them correctly. So be sure to stay tuned. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any important updates. Thank you for watching and see you next time.